I'm delighted to be joined on the Alternative Show today by Dylan from the band Parker. He's here to chat about the band and play us some songs. Hello, how are you?
Not so bad, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. To start us off with, can you tell us where you're based, who's in the band, and what everyone does in it?
We are a band from Derry in Northern Ireland. We're based here. I'm Dylan. I play guitar and sing. Owen plays bass and sings, and Michael plays drums.
Okay, and how did it all start? Where did you meet and how did the band come about?
So basically, Michael and I have been playing in bands together for over 10 years. We've known each other since we were 15. And we were originally in a band called Lost Avenue together, toured a whole bunch, and I think 2018 we did a European tour, and we needed a bass player to stand in for that, and we knew Owen because we all went to the same music college together, so Owen jumped in on bass, and we all became really good friends then. And then after that, Michael and I were in another band. Owen was in another band called Foreign Oil, and then over, I think really just before the pandemic, we all kind of, our bands became less active, but I had a whole bunch of stuff that I'd been writing over the course of the pandemic that I wanted to turn into a band to make a record with. So obviously Michael, me and him were best friends. He was the first person that I contacted to start jamming the tunes, and then we needed a bass player because we wanted to play shows, and we contacted Owen again, and that all sort of came together then about summer 2020.
Yeah. And who thought of the name Parker, and why did you choose it?
I can't really remember. I think I was watching loads of, the Marvel Cinematic Universe films.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I hadn't seen any of them before, and so over the course of the pandemic and lockdown, I watched all of them, like in the space of a week, and got really, really into them. And when we were discussing names, like the superheroes and stuff were on my mind, so I thought Parker was a cool idea. We all sort of agreed on that.
Perfect.
Like Peter Parker,
Yeah, nothing to do with Thunderbirds then?
Nothing to do with that's before my time.
Okay, how would you describe the band's sound?
I usually just say we're a rock band. I guess it depends who I'm speaking to. If it's someone that's like not really into alternative music or guitar music, I would say we're a punk band because it sort of leans slightly punky. But if it's someone that's a punk that's really pure about punk, I'll just say rock because they won't think we're punk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Who designed the covers for your current releases, Problems and Never Miss, and how did they come about?
So the first two single covers were designed by my friend Kiva Sweeney. She's a really, really talented artist in Derry, a friend of mine for a long time. So again, it was just quite natural as to who I would ask to do it. Okay,
brilliant. You've got two songs to play for us. What's your first song choice and why have you chosen it?
So the first song I'm going to play is Never Miss. It's the first single that we put out. We put it out in June of this year. And it's the first song that I wrote for this band. So it's always nice to kick it off with this.
This bitter conversation.
What's the songwriting process for the band?
So, as I said, I kind of worked on all these songs myself over lockdown. Basically, me and Michael had just finished a UK tour. We didn't even get to finish it because the pandemic kicked in March 2020. Well, lockdown kicked in while we were on tour, so we had to come home early. And I was still kind of in full band mode. You know, I was anticipating playing loads of shows, which didn't happen. So for that first few months where you couldn't leave the house or see anyone, all I did was write and record and play guitar and sing all day, every day. And I think I wrote the bulk of the record within those few months. So it was quite a solitary pursuit, the actual writing of the songs. And then once we could meet up and start working together in a practice room, obviously they changed and expanded. And then once we took it to the studio and started working with the producer that produced everything we've done, Cahir, they changed slightly then, and he put a lot of work into to developing the arrangement of the tunes and stuff. So that was kind of the process.
Okay, sounds good. And do your songs have any consistent lyrical themes?
I think a few of the songs that we've recorded, because all I do for the most part is be in a band. I write a lot about being in a band and being on tour, so there's definitely that. You know, it's quite typical of people that are in bands to write. Maybe, you know, you write what you do, you write what you know. So I guess a lot of like being away from home songs and seeing different places and longing and all that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, understood. Okay. And what DAW and musical instruments do you play and use?
Well, I use just Logic on my laptop to record all the demos for the record, and then I can't remember what they used in the studio. It might have been Logic as well. Instrument-wise, I play a Tele and a Jazzmaster live, and I use a Buddha head going through a Zilla cab, and on the record I used a Les Paul Jr. and a Tele for the most part, and a Hagstrom, which is quite a cool guitar. And I use my own amp as well as an Orange. I think it was an 8030 or something like that.
Nice.
And then Owen plays a Paz. You know Paz from the Pixies?
Yeah.
Her signature bass. It's like a P bass he plays, and he uses an Ampeg. And then I think Michael plays Apex drums and maybe pasty cymbals. I'm not 100%.
Okay, perfect. Which recording studio do you currently use and why?
Well, we made the record in Badlands Studios. It's a fairly new studio. It's out in the middle of nowhere in Northern Ireland. We went there because we'd been working with the producer sort of before we actually recorded anything properly. It was just demos. He's a guy called Cahir O'Doherty. He used to be in a band called Fighting With Wire. He's currently in a band called New Pagans, but he's a hero of ours. Some of the records he's made are unbelievable, and that is his studio that he just started. It's him and his bandmate Alan McGreevy. It's their own studio. They use it to record all their own stuff. I think we were the first band that wasn't them that recorded there.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Okay.
It's like it's out where Alan lives, so it's like on his property, but they've converted these farm sheds and the studio. It's great.
Oh, that's good. What do you get up to when you're not recording in there? So when you go in and you're having a break, is there like games rooms and stuff like that?
No, there's not really a lot. We don't. You know, we want to utilize the time as much as we possibly can. So we just record all morning, and then there's like a small village not too far away. We drive around there and go to the garage and get food from the deli, come back, eat that, and then get back to recording. That's the whole point of being out in the middle of nowhere. There is no distractions. There
must have been a pub involved in it somewhere.
I don't think we did, because we were driving down there every day. You know, it's quite far away, so not taking any chances.
Fair enough. What approach do you use when recording?
So the whole process from start to finish for this record that we've done is basically, as I said, I wrote and recorded the demos, and then we would work on them in the practice room, and then we emailed back and forth with the producer, Cahir, and discussed the songs, and he messed about with them a bit in Logic, and we went back and forth, and we kind of came to conclusions on the structures of the song and how we wanted them to sound. We would go and find references in different records that we liked, that we wanted our record to sonically sound similar to. So like Foo Fighters' Colour and the Shape, and Weezer, Everything Will Be Alright in the End, a few different records. Fighting With Wire, Man vs. Monster. And then once we got into the studio, we've always sort of done drums first. We don't record live. None of the bands that I've been on have really recorded live. So we tracked all the drums first, solitarily, and then put all the bass on top of that, and then all of the rhythm guitars, and then the vocals, and then the lead guitars, and any extra bits, synths or acoustics or whatever's needed, then to kind of fill everything out.
It's a very traditional approach to recording, that's for sure.
Old school rock record style.
Well, the recordings sound great, so it's obviously worked well.
Thank you. But like, as far as mastering, I was actually discussing this with my friend the other day. I've never used the AI mastering thing. I'm not a very technically aware person, but I don't believe that there's no way that could be better than a talented master engineer sitting in a room actually mastering the track. You know what I mean? But
ultimately, it comes down to your ears, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But we always use a guy called Robin Schmidt. He's based out in Germany, and he's mastered so many amazing records. I can't believe that there's any piece of technology that is better than his ears. Do you know what I mean?
Very much a traditional approach, yeah.
Yep.
What's been your favourite live performance experience?
There's 3 shows that stand out to me. The first was when we opened for Cahir's band, New Pagans, in the Black Box in Belfast just before our first single came out. That was an amazing show. It was a massive crowd. It was, I think we sold probably more merch than we'd sold anywhere else up to that point. It was great. The second, as we played at a festival in Northern Ireland called Stendhal. It was our first time properly playing there. It was our first proper festival experience. That was great. And then the most recent is we played a show in London at Wonk Fest. It's Wonk Units Festival. The Boston Music Room. Great setup, great sound. Just a cool venue.
What venue would you like to play anywhere in the world if you could, and why?
I think we would all love to play a show in Brixton Academy. It doesn't necessarily need to be our own show. Even if we ever got to the point where we had the opportunity to open for a band that was playing in Brixton Academy, something like that would be amazing, because it's such an iconic venue. Pixies, the 5 nights there, so many great bands have played there over the years.
Definitely. Any plans to apply to Glastonbury?
Again, I don't. It's not really something I've thought about too much. We're kind of just trying to get our music out there a bit and get on the road and stuff. I mean, we'd love to play Glastonbury. If there's anybody from Glastonbury listening, feel free to put us on the pyramid stage if you want. But we haven't applied yet.
Well, if you do, we're meeting up for beers.
Happy days, 100%.
Okay, what's your hope and aspirations for your music?
It's a tricky question, because I would like to say, and this is the truth, I just want to make music and I want to tour for the rest of my life. It's the only thing that I really love doing, is writing songs, recording them, putting them out, and then playing them live in different towns and cities. If I could, or if we could somehow make a living off of that, again, I have no intention of being particularly wealthy or anything like that, but if we could make a living from our own music, that would be the dream to me. And I mean literally, like, if we could make as much money from touring and releasing music as I make from working on a bar, I would be happy. Do you know what I mean?
I do indeed. Okay, what's next for the band this year?
So now we're just kind of doing quite a lot of behind the scenes stuff. We just finished a summer with a lot of touring, so we're just trying to get everything wrapped up now, get the next few singles in line, get things mixed and mastered. We are playing this weekend on Saturday night, opening for Fighting With Wire in the Nerve Centre in Derry. That'll be a big show. We have a few shows around Ireland planned for the end of the year, and our next single will be coming out the 21st of November. It's called You Cure It.
Okay, what interests or hobbies do any of you have outside of the band?
I don't do a lot outside of the band. I just kind of do working and making music. I like drinking beer. I like going down to the pub. I like eating. I like going to restaurants. I know Michael has a lot of hobbies. He likes to play the PlayStation, if that's a hobby. He likes to play football. He does all kinds of things. Owen as well, I think, does all kinds of things. I'm not too sure though. He's an interesting guy. I'm sure he does some sort of artistic stuff. You know, he probably paints, but I'm not too sure.
I like drinking beer as a hobby. Yeah, it's a great hobby, that, isn't it?
Well, that's all I really do. Not drinking beer. I mean, I work and I make music, and then on the and the small amounts of free time, I will usually choose to go down to the pub and drink beer.
Dylan, you and I have lots in common. What's your final song choice and why have you chosen it?
So the final song choice is our most recent single. We put it out there in September and it's called Problems.
Thanks for joining me today, Dylan. Let's keep in touch. All the best.
All right, Chris. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Certainly has. You're very welcome.
I'm never gonna speak again. Words have never made much sense. If you can see it in my eyes, and I can feel it too. I can feel it too. I can feel it. Please ignore me anyway. It's just another wasted day. And every single thing you say, you never thought it through. Never thought it through. Never thought it. I know I can't depend on. Can't depend on anyone to make me feel better when I don't. This is forever and I won't tell you my problems again. No, I don't want to condescend, though you're always alone at the end. So I hope we can let this go. I know that I exaggerate. I'm asking you to concentrate. I promise I do not hold hate, but I don't need your help. I don't need your help. I don't need your. It's okay not to be involved. Not every problem can be solved. Though it will never be your fault. I'll do this by myself. Do this by myself. Do this by my. I know I can't depend on. I know I can't depend on. Can't depend on, I know I can't depend on anyone to make me feel better when I don't. This is forever and I won't tell you my problems again. No, I don't want to condescend, though you're always alone at the end. So I hope we can let this go. It's not that easy, I know. Not every single question needs an answer. I can grow through this. I know that you don't want to miss an opportunity to help, but I need to work through this. I know that you mean the best, but please just forget. I don't want to depend on anyone to make me feel better.